Anxiety, it's not the monster under your bed, but a symptom of something far deeper. Most people suffer silently, unaware of the root cause, a cause they unknowingly create every single day. Think of anxiety as an unconscious choice, a self-imposed prison. The incredible truth is, the very force fueling your anxiety holds the key to your freedom. You don't need pills, you need understanding. Anxiety isn't a sudden, unwelcome guest. It's meticulously built, brick by agonizing brick, within your own mind. The shocking reality? It stems from a lack of self-knowledge. Not in a derogatory sense, but a literal one. Ignorance about your mind's mechanics, its power, and its inherent ability to shape your reality. It all starts with a void of understanding. Uncertainty creeps in, the insidious what-ifs, and those tiny seeds of doubt blossom into fear. Fear constricts, paralyzes, clouds judgment, and chokes the life out of potential solutions. This is where anxiety takes root, a persistent negative thought loop, a self-perpetuating flame. The cruelest part? It hides, festers, and poisons you from within, manifesting as tension, sleepless nights, panic attacks, ultimately, illness. Understanding this reframes everything. Guilt and fragility dissolve, replaced by the realization that clarity, not sheer willpower, is the true antidote. After all, you can't effectively fight an enemy you don't understand. Anxiety then isn't some monstrous entity, but a mental pattern, a vicious cycle. This cycle always begins with a single, seemingly harmless what if. What if I lose my job? What if my partner leaves? What if I can't pay the bills? See the pattern. The anxiety isn't in the future itself, but in your uncontrolled thoughts about it. This isn't theory, it's lived experience. I've witnessed firsthand the internal devastation, the insomnia, the racing heart, the panic attacks in traffic, the terrifying sense of impending doom, all stemming not from external factors, but from a mind consumed by fear, doubt, and lack of self-awareness. Alarmingly, many medicate without understanding their minds, treating the symptom, not the disease. They silence the scream, but the monster remains. No wonder the World Health Organization reports anxiety disorders affect over 260 million people globally, a staggering statistic. Even more disturbing, many will never hear this message. So I ask you, how many times has your mind felt like a runaway train? How many times have you tried to silence a thought, only to find it amplified? How many times have you felt like you were losing your mind? The answer lies at the cycle's beginning, a point you can change. Anxiety isn't punishment. It's a wake-up call, a call to understand your mind, its patterns, its power. Your thoughts dictate your feelings, and your feelings manifest physically. The good news? You can break this cycle. Understanding is the key. You don't have to stay in the dark. You can switch on the light, but you must choose to learn, to look inward. It's not easy, but it's simple, and the choice is yours. Few truly understand their minds, a baffling fact given its constant presence. It shapes what you feel, how you react, what you attract, and what you create. Yet most fail to see it clearly, confusing it with the brain. The brain is the tool, the mind is the operator. I recall a life-changing drawing by the visionary Dr. Thurman Fleet. He said, "No one's seen the mind, so I'll draw it." This simple yet profound image brought clarity. A large circle represented the mind, a small one, the body. The larger circle was divided. The top, the conscious mind, the bottom, the subconscious. The small circle was the body, the executor. It all clicked. The conscious mind thinks, chooses, evaluates. It's the logical part. The subconscious is emotional, storing beliefs, habits, and traumas. The crucial point? The subconscious doesn't reject. It accepts everything. The conscious mind feeds it with emotion and repetition, then expresses it physically. wondering why you feel anxious. Because you repeat negative thoughts that have become deeply ingrained beliefs. When you say, "I can't, I'm unlucky, it's not for me," you program your subconscious, which accepts and produces corresponding physical sensations. That explains the racing heart, the queasy stomach, the tightness in your throat. Your body mirrors your mind. You're not anxious because you're sick. You're anxious because your thoughts and feelings are at odds with your true self. A continuous neutral energy flows through you. You shape this energy with your thoughts. Shaped by fear and doubt, it becomes tension, blockage, pain. Shaped by clarity, purpose, and understanding, it becomes creation, well-being, aligned action. How often does your mind operate on autopilot, conjuring up worst-case scenarios without your conscious awareness? It's not your fault. We're trained to react, adapt, rarely to consciously create, direct, and choose the thoughts that shape our reality. This leads to the paradigm. Deeply ingrained subconscious habits and beliefs control your behavior even when you think you're in charge. You vow to change, yet repeat the pattern. You know what to do, but don't do it. The paradigm is in the driver's seat. Change demands study, awareness, and repetition, but it is possible. By understanding this mechanism, you regain control, identifying the patterns fueling your anxiety. Observe in real time how a thought generates emotion, action, and outcome. Then you can change. Use your conscious mind as a filter, rejecting unhelpful thoughts, focusing on solutions, visualizing a different future, and feeding that image to your subconscious. Your body responds. Your vibration shifts. Your internal state changes. Your external reality changes. I've seen this countless times. People paralyzed by anxiety, unable to leave their beds, terrified of judgment and failure, blossoming after understanding this mental model. They've launched businesses, rebuilt relationships, restored their health, and found peace. It all started with a simple drawing, a circle, a line, a connected body. Sometimes a clear mental image is all it takes. Understanding how something works dissolves the fear. The best part, your mind is always available. It doesn't need degrees, money, or approval. Just understanding. Understanding is the anxiety antidote. The mind, well utilized, is the ultimate tool for freedom. You have a choice. That's one of the most overlooked truths. Anxiety, fear, guilt, doubt all stem from the false belief that you're trapped, a victim, that life happens to you, not through you. But that's an illusion, powerless once understood. Your conscious mind, the thinking, analyzing, deciding part, possesses the power of choice. You can choose to shift your attention to think good instead of bad. But why does this seem so hard? Most live on autopilot, reacting, not consciously choosing. Reacting to news, bills, judgments, the past. The more you react, the more you reinforce imprisoning mental patterns. Anxiety feels external, but it's the echo of your mental choices. I know this can seem daunting initially. With choice comes responsibility. Taking responsibility for your thoughts might be frightening, but it's also liberating. It's the first step to regaining control. Have you noticed how some remain calm amidst chaos, while others crumble under minor setbacks? Some grow through problems, others sink. This boils down to what each chooses to think, and especially what they believe to be true. Viktor Frankl's story is captivating. He spent years in a Nazi concentration camp, losing almost his entire family, stripped of everything but one thing: the right to choose his thoughts. Even in hell, no one could force him to think something he didn't want to. That's true freedom, not dependent on the external world, but residing within you. How many times have you chosen to dwell on what you didn't want? Nourished mental images of failure, abandonment, scarcity, rejection. What if, instead, you chose to think about what you do want? Created mental images of success, peace, fulfillment, with the same intensity you feed your fears. Thought is creative, and emotion amplifies it. What you think and feel frequently and intensely manifests. It's not magic, it's law, always in operation. The difference lies in consciously operating it or being unconsciously operated. Many say, I can't change, I'm not in control. That's just how it is. But I see in them the same potential I discovered in myself when I was broke, in debt, and disillusioned. I thought there was no way out until I realized the way out was inward. Back then, I earned little, lacked education, and nothing seemed promising. But understanding that my thoughts shaped my reality changed everything. I stopped thinking about debt and started visualizing prosperity. It wasn't just positive thinking, I acted on it. I aligned myself with the new image. What was an idea became a new lifestyle. You can do this too. Start now. Observe your thoughts. Ask, does this lead me where I want to go? If not, change your thinking. Persist. It seems difficult and forced initially, but you train your mind like a muscle. Repetition, persistence, awareness. A challenge. Over the next 3 days, consciously choose one positive thought each time you notice a negative pattern. Just 3 days. Write it down. Observe yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect, just conscious. Surprise yourself. It all comes down to choice. You've always had it. Choosing with understanding diminishes anxiety's power. It doesn't survive in an environment of clarity, purpose, and direction, only in confusion. You weren't made for confusion, but for creation, prosperity, choice. I wasn't born confident. I didn't grow up hearing I could be great. I had no special talents. My life was a cycle of doubt, frustration, and survival. I dropped out of school young, taking any job, changing tires, cleaning garages, lubricating engines. I did what I had to survive, but felt life owed me something. What I didn't know, no one owed me anything. I had no idea what resided within me. I was trapped in a mental pattern that made me believe success was for others. Money was scarce and peace was a luxury. Always tired, anxious, suspicious. A shadow reminded me that no matter what I tried, it would never be enough. Until a man gave me a book, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I almost didn't read it, but I did. It ignited a spark. Someone was saying the secret to changing my life lay in my thinking. I was shocked. I thought success was luck, being born in the right place, knowing the right people. But there it was. You become what you think. That didn't leave my head. I studied intensely. I realized how much I'd let negative thoughts shape my identity. It was as if I'd been hypnotized for years, believing my reality was all I could have. So I decided to stop merely surviving. I wrote, I will start my own business and earn $10,000 in my first year. I owed over $6,000. I had no education, contacts, or initial investment, but I had a clear image. I acted as if it were already true. I thought differently, spoke differently, walked differently. Reality obeyed the new vibration. It worked. In a year, I earned more than I imagined. It wasn't luck. It was a result. The result of a reprogrammed mind, one thought at a time. Think of how many people you know who live with this pain. Good, intelligent people with immense potential, dominated by a distorted self-image. How many try to change externally, new job, relationship, city, but continue reaping the same internal results? They're not failing due to lack of effort, but lack of understanding. The saddest part, often no one tells them the problem isn't the world, but what they believe about themselves. Anxiety, frustration, emotional exhaustion all stem from a deep disconnect between who they are and who they believe they can be. Today, with everything I've lived, studied, and taught, I affirm, transformation begins by building a new self-image. A positive, clear, powerful image. Nurture this image daily with faith, action, and persistence. Your external life will never surpass the image you hold internally. This isn't theory, it's law. Many live in conflict, desiring one thing but imagining another. They want peace but fuel chaos. They want prosperity but see themselves in scarcity. You can change that. Decide to see yourself as capable, deserving, complete. Write a new story. It doesn't matter where you are or what's been said about you. Your mind is still yours. As long as you have the power to think, you have the power to transform. It all starts with the decision to believe and act. Thought without action is fantasy, but thought with action is creation. That's how I transformed my life, and that's how you can transform yours. There's a silent belief dominating millions. We'll only be happy later. After paying off debts, after finding the ideal partner, after achieving a specific position, body type, bank balance, or lifestyle. But that later is a trap, an illusion that keeps you dissatisfied and vulnerable to anxiety. Anxiety feeds on the gap between where you are and where you believe you should be. While living in this almost there state, your mind is never present. It chases an ever-elusive future, preventing you from living. You become a machine for anticipating problems, creating negative scenarios, and generating worries that often never materialize. Have you noticed how people say, "I just want peace," yet they spend their days consuming toxic content, comparing themselves on social media, blaming themselves for past mistakes and projecting fears onto the future? How can you want peace while waging war within your own mind? Finding inner peace isn't some far-off destination. It's a daily choice, a conscious act of will. You can choose to not get swept away by the current. You can opt for calm over knee-jerk reactions, for mindful observation over impulsive action. It starts with being fully present, not flitting between yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's worries. This isn't just theory, it's my lived experience. I once had more money than I ever dreamed of, yet I was consumed by anxiety, haunted by fear, a gnawing emptiness inside. That's when I realized true wealth isn't measured in bank accounts, but in inner peace. It's not your circumstances that dictate your mood. It's your mindset that shapes your reality. I learned to cultivate presence, to observe my thoughts without judgment, to detach from the negativity that would surface. Simple practices became my anchors. 5 minutes of quiet meditation, phone-free walks, expressing gratitude for the small things. Gradually, a shift occurred. Anxiety eased, replaced by a profound sense of calm. And surprisingly, my results improved. A clear mind makes for clear decisions, effective action. Harvard research shows we spend roughly 47% of our waking hours mentally wandering, disconnected from the present. And the more our minds wander, the less happy we feel. Makes you think, doesn't it? So I challenge you to a simple yet transformative 7-day experiment. For 3 minutes each morning before checking your phone, sit quietly, focusing solely on your breath. Just 3 minutes. You'll be amazed at the impact on your emotional state, your clarity, and yes, your productivity. Ultimately, it's not rushing that leads to success, but pausing, reflecting, finding harmony within. That inner peace has always been there, obscured by mental clutter. You don't have to live in internal conflict. You can choose peace. It's available right now. The only requirement? Presence. The most important takeaway: anxiety doesn't control you. You control your response to it. It all starts with awareness, with the conscious choice to be present, to think differently. When you grasp this, something changes. You stop searching for external peace and begin creating inner peace. If this resonates, imagine what awaits you. Click on the link to the next video in your journey of self-discovery, another step on your path to continuous growth. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.